Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, man?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little disconnected from the work, if that makes sense.
I think so.
Move this a little bit. There we go. It's better.
Yes.
So I'm right. Some apocalypse happens. Realize that I need to make some changes in my business. I start to really want to make those changes, and then I also realize that I'm like almost just like at capacity workload wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the work over here, which I have to do, right? Mm-hmm. And then I see, hey, there's a lot of room to improve over here, but I don't have room to come over here and do the improvement like as it is right now. So it's just frustrating that I can't do that, and it's making me frustrated about the work, which makes me not want to do the work. So
yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's today. Welcome to Friday, everybody. Hooray!
Hooray. Friday's the best day of the week. Well, what?
God, are you like, no way, man. I wish it was like Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, for all intents and purposes.
I mean, you know what's funny about that whole discussion? I mean, because we joke about that, about Thursday being the best day of the week, and like the big day, and Monday's the best day of the week, and Fridays, you know, like, and we talk about mindset so much. Shouldn't every day be the best day to work? Technically.
Yeah, technically, but it's just not going to be. Good morning, Levi. How are you?
Hello, sir. No, it's not. But like when there's power to labeling things. And so when you go like Thursday's the day when it all happens, you know, like naturally Thursdays will be better in our minds, you know?
First of all, Levi closed the deal yesterday, I believe. So
yeah,
congrats to Levi. Second of all, completely off topic. When I was a kid, my mom would call me the golden child because I just didn't get in trouble nearly as much in relation to my older brother and my younger sister.
Okay.
And it became a thing, like golden child, and you're talking about just the label of it, you know, and now it'll come up in conversation because like they're a little bitter about it, and my mom still talks about it, and like I just like cringe every time. Well, the golden child. Ooh.
Yeah, no, that has some expectations around it, right?
Yeah.
So
a little bit of pressure.
There's some weight there to that for sure. I think I'm trying to think. There's a movie like about an athlete that it goes through that. Like he's supposed to be the golden child, and he hates it.
I mean, there's the Eddie Murphy movie. I mean, if we want to let everybody know exactly how old we are.
Yeah, you want to go to the deep cuts. Holy cow.
Oh, man. That's so funny.
I've seen that movie, but I honestly can only remember one scene from the whole thing. I don't even remember how it ends. I just remember them out on some weird, like, line they're walking on or some short path out in the middle of a big fall, you know? Like, I can see the scene in my mind, but sorry, Eddie.
Good morning, Mike Tao. How are you, sir?
Mr. Tao. So, the golden child. I'm more like the Golden Dome, you know?
Well, I mean, you put so much effort into that thing.
I do. I spend all my time worrying about it.
All right. So I don't think that you and I have ever talked about this. How old were you when you like took it all off?
I was 21 when I first took it off, but that wasn't like the final. That was like the first time I was like, oh gosh, I may have to consider being a bald guy. And so I did it when I was 21, and I saw that I had the head for it because, you know, head shape matters when it comes to that whole thing. If you're going to really decide. So luckily I have the head shape to be a bald guy. But then
how often do you see someone who does not have good bald head shape?
I'd say 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 if I'm guessing. Because they're out there, you know them. When you see them, you're like, whoa, Whoa.
I'm like racking my
kind
brain because like I think this is one of those things that you care about when you're going bald, but like nobody else really notices. But if there is this like hierarchy of like bald head types that I'm just not aware of.
No, I'm just thinking it's more of just like a you know or you don't. Like there's no hierarchy. It's like you walk in and the guy, he must have been in an accident and they had to like shave his head. You know, like something like it's not really for him. That was not a choice. You know.
So okay, so you're 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You take it all the way down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you say, "Man, I'm glad I got this head shape."
Well, I thought because the thought was I'm going to be losing my hair, and I'm never going to be like the Hair Island guy, or I'm never going to do any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go bald. I'm just going to shave it when I get to a point where I'm like, this just isn't working, and so I need to see what's under there. And so that's what I did.
Huh? Were you like, oh man, yeah, it looks better than I thought. I'm okay with this now.
Yeah. It was kind of like, oh, okay, good. This doesn't look like horrible. Okay, if this has to happen, I'm okay.
I mean, at 21 years old,
I had some pretty wicked widow's peaks, like where it was like, you know, like you've got the hairline and then it was like, shh, like that sort of thing. That's what they call them, widow's peaks. And yeah, I just was like, man, this isn't good. So I didn't actually do it. I had my hair pretty short before I was getting married, and for wedding photos, she wanted for me to grow my hair back, like just to have like a head of hair in wedding photos, right? And it was like, I was like, oh, why would you want that? It looks better bald. It looked like I'm balding in our wedding photos. Well, I look better without it. So then I quickly shaved it for like the last time.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have hair after wedding photos. Largely.
Well, like, I'm just trying to think about like what that would feel like, right? If I'm 21 years old, shaving the head.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, you know.
Well, it was 25, 26 when I officially like kind of crossed over into bald land. So 21 was like more like,
okay.
And I held on for another few years.
So. Do you miss hair? No, because I've been thinking about this ever since I saw your comment where you said I like being a bald guy for the maintenance alone.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. Like, I mean, occasionally there's like when you see hairstyles,
all the stages of grief, acceptance.
Yeah. Yep. I learned about grief in my 20s, Levi. Man, that's lesson early. So yeah, no, it's just I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. That's so far in my rear view. I haven't even thought about hair in years and years. So like I can appreciate another dude having a good head of hair, but it doesn't make me go, oh, I wish I had hair like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. Save money on the barber.
Hey man, I get that.
No maintenance. Of course, I do spend a lot of time on this, just nitpicking. So
dude,
maybe
I mean, it's
just transparency. That's what it is.
I mean, it's a manicured beard. It looks good. Yeah, and you cut the length off the bottom.
I did down here. Yeah, it was just too
much.
I just wasn't doing what I wanted to do.
How are you doing at getting back into the rituals?
Oh, it's been a strong week. It's been a very strong week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because it was like I went from over here and I like slammed it all the way back over here. It wasn't like let's step back in, and it slammed over pretty quickly. So I think the key will be next week. Like how good do I do pulling all the way back over here to almost like 100% of hitting everything every day. It's keeping that momentum going is, the fall off, avoiding the fall off again. That's more the concern.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just like part of it. Like,
yeah,
because I think that the more disciplined you are, the lower or the smaller the slips are. Right. So I don't think when I like this week where I feel a little disconnected, a little bit frustrated and stuff, I think that's a smaller slip than like what I would have done a couple of months ago or a year ago or a couple of years ago. Yeah. And so I wonder if it's just about like if you ever get to the point where like you just don't slip, you just do it all the time.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think we always kind of like buck against it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the it's the long game, right? It's there's a short game, which is this week, and then there's the long game, and it's like you're never a robot, really. So
yeah, I'd be getting a lot more done.
Yeah,
if I was a robot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, two faces, just bam, right here.
that perfect version for that station.
Yeah, exactly. But like only this station, it wouldn't work anywhere else, you know.
Right. Robot sales.
How's the book coming, dude? I feel like we have not talked about that in a hot minute.
In progress, but I don't know. I'm not super happy with the output like right now as it sits currently. So I don't know what that is, but I'm not super happy.
I'm going to make you feel a lot better. Okay. Mine is done. I need to read it.
That makes me feel better. Thanks.
No, hold on. Hold on. We're getting to the part that's making you feel better. I need to read it and then like write the conclusion, give it to Mel, and then we hit publish. And for some reason, I'm doing everything I can to not read this thing.
I was gonna say you've been talking about that conclusion for a few weeks now too.
I know. It is like I'm like anything else will do. It's so bizarre.
Good morning, what I do when I get to that stage?
What?
Thanks for reading. The end. Hey, I finished, y'all.
God, there's no way. There's no way that would work.
Oh, it work. Just not how you want.
So like, I've got all these things that are like so close to the finish line, and now they're at the stages that I'm not super strong at. So I'm like, well, what if I do it wrong? And then I don't do anything at all because I need to be correct. Technically correct is my jam.
Yeah. So how do we get past that? What's it's different for both of us.
I might have to do the Manish thing.
Which is what?
And just like pay Melissa to just like sit right here and
smack you,
pinch me, because I hate being pinched more than I hate being slapped. Not that I've got a whole lot of experience in being slapped, I guess. That's not true. Kung Fu, I guess. So, but no, just pay someone to just sit here and manually make me do some of this stuff. Because I got to get the course up on this AppSumo marketplace that I've been doing. But when I know the task well, it's so easy. I can do 1,000 of them for hours. But if I'm not sure, perfectly, I need the biggest white hand to hold on to like a toddler, almost. So that way I can be like walked through the process the first
Does
time.
Band-Aid method work for you?
Does the what?
Band-Aid, like rip it off, just like I.
Well, no, because there's 7 other things that like I should also be doing at the same time, right? So as opposed to I'm just gonna do this, it's like well, I'll do this in a little bit because I'm gonna go over here and work on this thing.
Right, but you're into traps. What if the trap was there's these 7 other things I have to do and I cannot touch them until this thing's done?
The trap that I want to build, honestly, is I sit here, but I don't look at these screens other than for Zoom calls. Like this is a system I want to build. So that way I don't even turn to come over here and look at this screen with all the moving pixels and all the notification sucks and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that way I can just, everything comes in via Zoom. I hand certain things off as tasks to, an assistant and everything else like this. Everything gets done and I just get to be awesome in the moment. That's the system I would love to build.
Okay, so that's ideal. Great.
Ideal.
What does the in-between version look like?
Oh, I don't want to go through that right now. I'm just talking about how great it would be if if I had an army of people who were just like me working under me, I would get so much done.
Man. Can you hear yourself right now?
Oh, I know. Yeah. There's this great movie that came out whenever we were kids. It's called Multiplicity. Mm-hmm. It's got Michael Keaton in it, yes. and he clones himself, but like every time he clones himself, it like brings out like one extreme like side of his personality, and it's a very funny movie. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. Mm-hmm. That would be so. Of course, it would end hilariously bad, but I mean, it sounds like a really cool idea right now in the moment.
Yeah, I can be honest. I would want more of me. I want some other types of people. I can do my stuff. I want anyone who's doing the stuff I don't want to do, like write books, like
yeah, exactly.
Conclusions to books.
Yeah, exactly, dude. She touched my peppy, Steve. Yeah. Oh man, I love that. I have a wallet, Steve. Oh God, I love that movie.
I might have to go back and watch that movie again. That's been a long time. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, without a Michael Keaton solution, we'll have to figure something else out.
Yes, exactly. It's a work in progress. I just need an army of assistants. So
it's never getting finished. Not in 2021.
Well, no, I mean, building that system probably not happening in 2021.
Yeah, but the conclusion, all right.
Oh man, so the other day I looked up and I realized, hey, we're in March, and I said that this book was going to be done and out by the end of this month. What is going on? And then I'm like kind of getting steamed up about it, and then I'm like, what? Oh, my fault.
Honey.
Yeah. Sorry, boss. Yeah. And then I'm like, cool. I just need to read it. Mm-hmm. And then each day, I finished the day. Like I read a whole other book.
Yes.
Like, of course. I read this book called High Probability Selling. It was a great book. I'm now borrowing it to Travis. I need to check in with Travis today because I told him I was going to check in with him once a week until he finished the thing because I wanted it back. Mm-hmm. And so I read this whole book in place of reading my book. Mm-hmm. Like that's the level. Wow, that's pretty dope. I'm pretty excited about my commitment to getting this thing done before the end of the first quarter. Yeah, exactly. All
right. Well, then what do we got to do? What's the trap here? What do we have to do to make you read your own book?
Like this is the trap I need to build. Like I'm good for like probably 80% of the race, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just like this like last little 20% of like the finishing when it involves stuff like more webby stuff, right? The landing page and the copy that goes for the landing page. We need some design for the landing page and all that stuff happens and it's got to be connected, all this stuff. Like I know how all that works and I can do it, but like I don't have unconscious competence of it, right? I have barely conscious competence. So it requires a lot of
writing, and you cranked through. I feel like you cranked through the book itself.
So the writing itself is like the thing that I'm like good at.
Yeah, so I feel like it's you are not finishing the writing, which is actually easy for you because you don't want to do something after the writing.
Oh yeah, that's it exactly. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be able to write a conclusion like this weekend. Like you could do that easily.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. The writing of the conclusion is not the hard part, right? But it's like
the launch itself.
What?
Like the technical launch, like putting it up, landing page.
Oh yeah, because like I've got 3 spreadsheets of like contacts that I need to go through and remove the duplicates and mail all those out. And do I mail those out from mine or do I do like a Mailshake warm up? And then all of a sudden I'm like, how do I do this the best way possible? and then I don't do it in any way possible because I'm just like, looking for the best. So
we're a mess.
Huh?
We're a mess.
I'm a mess.
No, we're a mess. We're a wreck.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a regular day, right? And then I talk to people and they're like, man, you got it all together. I'm like, no, No, I don't.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. When I went on the podcast, they wrote this epic intro for me, and I was like, wow, that's a lot to live up to. You might be disappointed if you watch this episode.
Right. So you go and you do this thing now to where you go around and you go get and host on podcasts, right? And I've been lucky enough to be on a lot of shows at this point, probably 20 or 40 different podcasts. And some people are just like, hey, this is John. He's going to introduce himself. And then some people do the epic warm up.
Yep.
And it's funny and interesting, but it's also like, oh, wow, great. No pressure on this conversation, because especially when there's like a warm up like this and like, oh, hey man, how's it going? And they're getting all chummy with you. And then like, cool, like you ready to start? And they're like, yeah, you're ready to start. And they hit record and they're like, this is John Hill with Adapted Growth. And I'm like, whoa, huge, like momentum shift in the conversation. Yeah. So, I just think it's funny that different, like how different that process can be.
Yep. Everybody's got different expectations for what they want their show to be like, right?
Yes. Yeah. So. I was on a show a couple of months ago. They got released this week with Jason Croft of Black Ginger.
Was that a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I was wondering where that came from. I was like, you didn't tell me you recorded with him. I was like, oh, yeah. Months ago.
No, it was a while ago, and I thought that maybe just the episode was crap. I was like, they didn't like my stuff. I was like, man,
dude, get my episode on. What are we doing here? And you're like,
well, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, because I always ask, how far out are you? Because I want to help promote whenever it launches, right? Yeah. And everybody, well, we're here. And he was like, a couple of weeks. I was like, okay, cool. And then a couple of weeks go by, and I'm not seeing anything. I haven't heard from him. And his partner was like, man, we got to like talk more. And I was like, cool, I'm down to talk more. You guys are super cool. And then nothing, just like crickets. Like he doesn't schedule or anything. And I was like, oh, this is just a terrible episode. That's okay.
Well, I mean, you saw that they took forever to get their show rolling. It wasn't your episode. It was their show.
Yeah.
kept putting it off. So I did see that because I saw him mention a couple times how he wanted to, we need to be on we need to get this thing going. We've been delaying. So
sorry.
It just ended up being their show delayed, not you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for Monday? Like, are we just moving over to LinkedIn?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
How'd you forget? Like, I've been getting props. I've been getting, like, handshakes and, like, can't believe you made it, bro. Kind of like, messages.
I haven't told people. So I haven't been getting those props. I only told you.
Well, I've been telling everybody else.
Yeah. I was just going to tell the people here and be like, hey, don't hate us, but is it cool if we go ahead and move this thing over to LinkedIn? Because that's really where the types of people that are really looking for this type of accountability hang out more, because they're business minded over there on LinkedIn. But on Facebook, you get a whole array of people, which is cool. But 7:45 a.m. on Facebook it's tough, man. I get more. I can tell you this: I get more people saying, "Hey, I didn't know you had a show in the last month or two." And we've been doing it for how long?
Yeah.
Right? But if I had been doing this on LinkedIn, I probably within weeks would have said, oh, I saw your show. That's cool. Oh, I saw your show. That's cool. Just because of the circles, probably, I guess, that I run. But,
interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll have to figure that out, huh? Yeah, let's move on Monday. Let's do that. Let's move over on Monday to LinkedIn.
Well, okay, so
podcast.
We can leave it here and do that. We just have to pay, right?
Yeah, we can do multiple if we pay for premium.
Sorry about that. Whew.
Sorry, Mike.
I tell y'all, it's Mike's world. We just live in it.
That's right. I feel that. Yeah.
Well, in that case, Mike, thank you for not going to work and hanging out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike likes us so much, he takes a break from work. He's like, hey, I'm gonna take a smoke break.
Right.
By smoke, I mean hang out with these two guys.
Yeah. Right,
So.
right. I'll be back in a bit. I'm gonna get on Facebook. Wait, you're getting on Facebook? If I'm getting on LinkedIn, I'll be like, oh, okay, you're working. Cool.
Well, I think it's actually like, hold on a minute, I'm gonna go get on Facebook, and everyone else is like, you're not already?
Yeah. Like they're hiding their phones. So like, what? Who's on Facebook? What are you talking about?
Can you imagine trying to be a manager of like a Chase Bank now?
Oh gosh.
Right, with like all the phones, all the social media and stuff, and like even before that, I think about being like a manager of an AT&T store because like it was just getting to the point where you could have like the one Bluetooth headset and it would stream music, right? So we were all listening to Pandora, and because it's an AT&T store, we're supposed to wear Bluetooth headsets anyway. So it's like the one good reason to look like that person back then, which is like the one.
Good reason.
Yeah, the beauty of self-employment, and like thinking about that now, and man, I think it would be hard to motivate people.
Dude. Trust me. There are places I just walk into normal day to day that I'm like, they should check phones at the door. Like there should be something.
Yeah.
Where like people have to pay attention. They have to because they don't have their phone. You know.
Yeah.
That would be rough. School's similar because my kids are on iPads and different things like that because they literally have teachers that they'll watch and different things like that. I'm like, I don't know if they're doing their work or not because they're on iPad, and it's like
so. One day, Alice has her desk and her computer in her room, and so one day I go in there to like go talk to her about something else, and she clicks away from something real quick.
Yeah.
Right, and like. I know something happened, right? Like I've been that kid, right?
I'm an adult. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say I've been that adult, when she walks in the room. So I was like, here you go. We got to talk about it. And she goes, talk about what? And I was like, not sure what happened, but if Mom and I can't trust that you're in here doing your work, then you can't do your work in here.
Yep.
And she was like that, and I was like, I'm just putting it out there. If we don't think that you're in here working, you won't be in here working. So, just be thoughtful about that in your actions. So,
yeah. Yep.
And then like I wanted to sit there and like overcoach the crap out of it, like just like I normally do around everything.
Yep.
And then I was just like, that's enough. Like,
that's
like, yeah, it's exactly what it felt like. I was like, you can always cook a steak up, but you can't undercook an overcooked steak. So I'm just gonna leave.
That's right. You can't back a well done back to medium.
You cannot do it. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
One time, I was working at this restaurant, and if Dan Bennett is watching this, he'll think this is funny because his partner's a chef. They is a higher end restaurant, wine, all the nice stuff and everything. And this, they have specials, and this table gets a special to split. And they didn't want to pay for like the split plate cost, right? So they're just going to eat out the same plate. And they asked me, and I don't know if this is a joke or not, if they could take the steak and like put it on one side like this for a little bit, so that way this side could be medium well and this side could be medium rare. And I'm like, look, maybe let me go ask, right?
Wow.
And so we have a chef on staff, right? Like this is a chef menu driven restaurant. And so chef was this interesting guy. Chefs typically, the ones that I have met, tend to have like a lot of passion and not a lot of patience, right?
Yeah.
So I go back there and I ask for this, and this guy goes off. Yep. Like he's like, "What? Are you serious? No, we can't do this." Like you yippity yap and like up one side and down the other and everything. Mm-hmm. And I go back out there, and I was like, "Hey, I don't think we can do that." And he goes, "I want to talk to the chef. This is nonsense. I know that I can do this."
Oh, come on.
So I'm like, I go back in and I'm like, "Chef, this table would like to talk to you." And he was like, "What? Why aren't you handling like?"
Right.
Now I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So they go outside, and the other guy is just smiling at this chef because like he knows the chef, and the whole thing was just to like bust his chops and everything. Yeah. And so these guys are like, hey, bro. And I'm like, not this version of me. I'm 20 years old. This is pre-army, or no, this is post-army John. And so I'm just standing there pissed, just like seething that like these two guys are like chummy, right? And they're just running this joke on me in this really nice restaurant, and no one like apologized. Like the chef was like, "You old so-and-so, come on in the back," Mm-hmm. And like that was it. There was no like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I just like torched your dreams" or anything.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know where that story came from. That was very bizarre.
That's there. I saw a movie scene exactly like that. I can't remember the show it was on, but I laughed because the guy was getting.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because the guy was getting so pissed.
Yeah.
And then the manager came out and he was like, okay, like, yeah, that's so funny.
Maybe that's a thing. Like, I was just livid. I was really, really, really mad.
Yeah, distracting me from my other tables where I could be making money. I'd be like, yeah. Well, thanks for that.
What do you have today, Bill?
So, it's a pretty full day, actually. I've got a decent bit of cleanup, just projects that are finishing up this week that I got to do some communication with clients and close some loops, really. Okay. I got a couple meetings set up for the afternoon. I've got one new person I met on Clubhouse this week that potentially could be a referral partner for us. So we're going to be meeting with them. And I'm going to be a guest today on a podcast at 1:00.
Nice.
On Clubhouse. So called Clear and Loud.
Interesting.
So yeah. So that's part of what I get going on. How about you?
We're interviewing one of our clients to get some more LinkedIn content out of them. They're in the printing industry. So interview them, turn that into content so that way they have content rolling out on LinkedIn. I have a call with a guy I met in a new community. It's a salesperson community, and so he is potentially looking to maybe get into like marketing agency sales and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a call and a meeting. Then I have one of these where I'm not sure how it got on my calendar, and those are typically pretty good. And then catching up with an agency owner client and this guy Joseph, who I've been working with, and so they're going to be working together. I'm excited about that. So we're talking compensation and process and everything else like that today. So full day, and then supposed to have like a happy hour like this evening, but I don't know. It's like super far away. It's way up in Keller, and
oh my gosh,
that's far, man. So that's on the calendar, but I don't think I will be attending that. So
what? I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'm trying to think the best way to ask this.
How would you get me in trouble?
What's the deciding factor if you go to Keller or not? Is it how bad you want to see the person? Like, is it like I haven't seen this person in a long time and they're in town, so okay, I'll go to Keller, or we can do this again next weekend and I don't want to drive that far to Keller.
If I'm being really honest, it's probably a no already.
Right. But when you're making those decisions, I'm saying like how do you go? Oh, okay, I'll go to Keller.
So, okay, all right. So let's talk about this because this is a newer client. Help them kind of assess the salesperson, and we're coaching them up. Made some introductions, and starting the process. Built up their pipe drive. And then I get this email like, "Hey, we're all gonna go hang out. Would love to like hang out with you in person." And I'm like, it like short circuited my brain for like a second because as it did just now again.
Interaction with I barely know.
Like, the enter key got stuck right there. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Also, what have you scheduled part way through the happy hour just in case? That's funny. So like I haven't I just deliver over Zoom, so I I have two or really three clients that I meet very sporadically in person, right? Because they like to meet in person, and I try to be accommodating. So, but like the idea of like a happy hour was just like I'm like, oh, is this still a thing that people do? Yeah, that's right. Because we live in Texas and we lived at all restrictions this week, which, well, I'm not going to talk about. But I was like, happy hour, huh? Yeah, I don't know. It feels very odd. Like, so then I go through like the mental Rolodex of like, who would I go to a group happy hour, 30 minutes away with? There's not like a whole lot of people.
Well, it's the happy hour itself. It sounds like that's bothering you more than the company or the people that asked, right? It's like I don't really want to go be social in a group right now in general, and so it's a hard pass for now. But like, because like I can't imagine that if most people ask you to do a happy hour in Keller right now, you would say yes. It doesn't really matter who the people are.
Yeah, but that's not COVID dependent.
No, I just situated during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because Texas is very much a driving state, right? And I like to drive, but like I've got very defined parameters of like what I think is like far or not. Exactly. We all do. I just 20 minutes for a bar is far to me, right? So I don't know.
Right. For an eye, it's not.
No, I know. You're like 20 hours to like this one bar where there's going to be this one epic story and this one person's going to want to hear all my stories. Let's go. Levi's already driving to that bar.
Something magical could happen. You never know.
That's true.
You'll miss it.
I'm just here for the story, bro. I'm just here for the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Your FOMO's around spreadsheets, not people.
Yeah, that's true. Right. And like not in like a bad way. I want to defend myself so bad because I'm like, not in a bad way because I do like people.
It's just like, what it is. No, Mike,
Mike says on my way.
It's an hour earlier here, Mike, so you're gonna miss the happy hour.
Mike's already there because he's in the future, man.
Oh,
he's in the future. Mike Towell drives a DeLorean, everybody.
That's right. That's right. He has a cool vest like me. That's a DeLorean.
We're not going to talk about the vest.
No, we're not.
Yeah, so it's weird because like the people that I want to hang out with, I want to hang out with all the time.
Right.
But I don't have I just don't have the need to go find like lots of new people to go hang out with.
Yeah.
Like
it's so funny because you were really active and networking in person before COVID.
Yeah, but like that's a task.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Right? When it's connected to a task, I can do it forever.
Right.
Really.
Right. Well, you just do it in reverse for me, right? You go, there's a task I need you to do, Jake, but you don't introduce it to me that way. You say, hey, there's a person I'd really like for you to meet. Oh, okay. Yeah. And by the way, when you're there, would you also grab this information from them? Yeah, no problem. Got that. So you just flip the problem over.
Yeah. Like that's, hey, go. When you can put it into it, everybody talks about like gamifying your life and everything like this. Mm-hmm. And I was talking with someone a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, "What do you do for fun?" And I was like, "The things that I do are fun because accomplishing the tasks is fun.
All I do is win."
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. I like it's fun every day whenever I'm like knocking out tasks and doing things and like moving towards goals, And then you kind of have to have that moment of like, oh, maybe I'm the narcissist. Maybe I'm that person, of just being so head down that you just end up telling yourself that you love being head down.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That was my thing of like Snowpocalypse, right? I was like, maybe I like working so much because I have to work so much. Like, that's what I was thinking on Thursday.
Yeah, you did say that yesterday.
Yeah. Biz dev is a fun hobby to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's you're gamifying something that can bring you something that you hope for, right?
So I met Dan. Dan is the guy who created the Sherpa logo and sent me the awesome shirt.
Yeah.
And so I met Dan in the Noah Kagan Slack, and he was like, okay, cool, sales guy. And then we jam. We have a great connection. And then he reads the book, right? And very early in the book, it talks about that sales is a noble profession. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Oh, Dip, I need this," right? And it's so funny because he's like the best case study I'm ever gonna have, because he was already doing everything right. He just needed to like essentially be just like kind of like pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And now the dude is killing it. His rates increased today, right? Nice. And he's like going around and he goes, "Hey, my rates are going up on Friday, and this is not to like try to talk you into anything, but just to let you know, because my rates are going up." Mm-hmm. And he feels great about it, which is super awesome and nice.
So here's what I really want to know, Dan, is did you get to the end of this book and go, how does it end? I have to know. What happens? Did he get the girl?
Oh God, that got me. Oh man, that was.
You'll never know. I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed the end of the book.
Did you get to the end and wonder how it ends?
So in conclusion,
what is the title of part 2? Oh man. Oh God, that is so funny. Did you get to the God just dripping in sarcasm, man? That's so good. Oh man. There are days where I hang out with Jake Jordan and I'm like, man, Jake is like the nicest guy, like just so great. He's so great. And then there are days where he makes comments like that, and I'm like, that's why he's my really great friend. Like that right there. Like he just stores it up. Like I'm just dishing out little bitty jabs all over the place. Jake is just like, just wait. It's gonna hurt so good.
Don't you worry.
Oh man. Yeah. So Dan is super dope at what he does, right? And he just needed like the clarity of this thing, and man, he's taking massive action, and it's like super cool. So I'm super excited.
Love it. And the logo's awesome. So
logo is super dope. So
yep. So whenever that store goes up, let me know, because I'm gonna buy one of those to wear.
Hey, I'm really great at doing things I've never done before. So I've never built an online t-shirt shop. So we will see how long that takes me, right? I can write a book about about like avoidance and why it's important and everything else like this about getting this t-shirt shop started. I could write that today, but getting this thing actually built and launched is going to take me so much longer because I've not done it before.
Right.
Flash the shirt. I'm not wearing it today, James O'Donnell. James O'Donnell brings the deepest cuts. We hung out yesterday, and he was wearing a shirt that had a TARDIS door, but it had like the Monsters Inc. door frame around it. I'm like, man, that is next level nerd. Like I love that.
I have one that shrunk. That's my favorite deep cut shirt, and it's just a white plain T-shirt, and it's got Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes sitting in a box, right? His time machine box that he traveled around, with Hobbes in, and it has the Doctor with him in the box, and he goes, "This isn't my TARDIS."
That's a great deep cut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I got to find that one again.
Yes. James and Jake should know each other, because James is trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do, and he's a pretty cool guy, but he's pretty close. And we were talking about it yesterday.
Okay.
He works with a lot of recruiters, but he doesn't really want to work with recruiters. So we're trying to figure out
man,
kind of what he's going to do.
Make that connection like you do.
That's what I do.
Yep.
All right, Dan, go wreck your call, buddy. See you soon.
See you, Dan.
Yeah. What else?
Man, I think that's it. I'm excited for the work today, because I like closing tasks just like you. I like closing the book on projects and stuff. So it's going to be a feel good day for me as far as work goes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get started.
Are you writing today?
Yep, I am. It's on the calendar. Yeah.
How many words you got for the week?
I have to look. I got like 6,000 somewhere in there. I've deleted lots. I've deleted a whole lot. So here's the
why are you deleting?
Well, here's the little hump I got over. Right. I found that I was writing words I didn't like, and so I was not writing words. That was like my first stop. I was like, I just don't like this. This doesn't fit where I need to go. Right. I'm self-editing, which is a problem. Right.
Yeah.
So I went, okay, I'm just going to write.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back, and if I don't like it after I've written it, then I can take it out. That's fine. So that was kind of phase 2 of me getting past my hump, right? So now, because I don't have an editor in my house,
Yeah, I am a bit of a standout in that process creation.
Yeah. So part 3 is going to be me just writing and finishing, and then going back and reading it all together and reading it as one thing, and then kind of doing an edit process. Just because I'm trying to get past the hump of me not being super psyched about my writing first or along with, like, same time. Right?
Do you need to be psyched about your writing?
Do you?
That's a good question. No.
Well, the writing is no, but yes, I want to like what I'm writing as an author.
Okay.
Don't you want to like what you write?
So I
don't fight it. You want.
No, hold on. Right.
Yeah.
A part of me trying to be more creative is being okay with the fact that some of the creativity things that I do are going to be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'll be sitting and journaling, and I'll have a moment to where, like, I'm not sure what to write about, and I'll just like find something in the room and I'll write like a crazy story about it, or like I'll write like a rap verse about something, or I'll do like alphabet aerobics and just kind of work my way through the alphabet, like anything to kind of get this thing started.
Right.
And a lot of that is terrible, right? And there's a lot of stuff, like I wrote this blog article that I think is really interesting. Actually, I'll talk about it in a second. And Melissa's like, well, I don't really think that we should publish this. I was like, okay, totally fine. Not a big deal. Because if I start thinking about like why and everything else, then I'm going to start limiting the creative process, right? And right now I'm trying to expand my creative process. So
yeah, I think that's what I mean is I'm trying to write now and just let it flow. But then when I go back and go, I don't want to publish that. I'm going to get rid of that part because it's not back to the controlling idea of the chapter and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So I wrote this article because so I read this book about using psychedelics for therapy and improvement and everything else, How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. Really interesting book. Would like to do this eventually, but now's not the right time, and also like no really place to do it and stuff like this. So, but in the book, everybody who has like a positive experience with it comes back talking about love, kindness, gratitude, happiness, right? So with like the past year and like finding stoicism and everything else, I've been trying to like work on some of this as well. But the part of it, there's a concept inside of psychedelic use called like microdosing, right? Which is taking very, 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 very small amounts of a hallucinogen to kind of have some of the properties without like going like off into the woods kind of thing.
Yep.
And so there's a community of people who do this, and they just talk about the things that they get out of it, right? Happiness, gratitude, love, and everything. So I wrote this blog post about how I have been trying to adopt the benefits of like microdosing without actually doing the microdosing, because I've never done it before. It is illegal, and makes me nervous to do that stuff. So but I'm like, oh, if I can just lean into being more happy and more grateful and things like that, then that could be just fine anyway. So wrote this blog post, and she's like, well, I don't think we're gonna post this. I was like, okay, why?
Yeah.
She's like, because I think it would give some people the wrong idea about you. And I said, what idea would that be? That I want to be happy and grateful?
That you're a druggie?
I mean, I guess that is the concern, right? I'm talking about like trying to avoid like using the drug and just looking for the benefits and trying to place those very specifically into my life. But I could see that someone would be like, well, I'm not sure about John, you know.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of those interesting things where you get to decide. I don't care if you think that about me. I have enough people, or okay, that's a valid concern. We want a much wider audience, so we're not going to dip our toes in that water. Like,
yeah, but it was funny because on our Snowpocalypse article, which I think is up now, she had some very some very heavy slant in there, and I was like, we got to take this out. And she was like, why? And I was like, because that's not what this story is about. So it was funny that like I was looking out for it on one end and she's looking out for it on the other, you know. I thought that was rather interesting.
So for the fans, where is your blog?
Yeah, so my blog, everybody, is johnsmallmountain.com. We put out a post just about every week. So I think the newest one is about Snowpocalypse and the lessons I learned, the Stoic applications of it, things like that. But yeah, it's been my kind of like journey as the entrepreneur for like this whole time. So Adaptive Growth is a company blog where we talk much more sales focused stuff, right. Teams, process, CRMs, everything else like that. So,
yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything gonna get in your way today?
Man, just me. Like just like the standard thing. Like I need some harsher deadlines is really the thing, right? Because I'm like, oh, I had time. I had total time. So, yeah, I've got a full schedule today of like Zoom calls. So I love here that like I'm like standing here talking about how like I'm going to buckle down and get more done, and my schedule's just filled with Zoom calls. So we'll see how much I actually get done today. But the goal is to be a little bit more deliberate in my actions.
Well, a wise Bill once told me, if you put it on your calendar, it gets done. So
that is true.
Conclusion needs to go on your calendar sometime.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I guess Monday morning. We'll be on LinkedIn.
We will be on LinkedIn.
Might be on Facebook also.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, we always stream. It'll always be available every day. Just maybe noon instead of 8:45 Eastern. But we will be on LinkedIn at 7:45 a.m. on Monday morning. So come on and roll over with us, and we'll remind everybody too numerous times.
Yes. Thanks to Jod. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to Levi. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to everybody coming and hang out. You guys are dope. Yeah.
Yep.
They're awesome.
So thanks for everybody for coming.
Yep.
And we will see you on LinkedIn Monday morning at 7:45 a.m.
Central.
Here on Facebook if you want. I guess.
See you.